I did a year of stock photography, so you don't have to. And I'm going to tell you what usually happens, what I managed to negotiate, and what happened from that. Now, first of all, stock photography comes into three main camps. And it's because most of the internet don't understand this. You get your main stock sites. I'm not going to name any names in this here because I don't want to get sued by anybody, but they sell images cheap. You upload them. One particular one that I'm sure a lot of you are aware of, pay between to the user 33 cents and $26 per photograph. That's what you get. Okay, that's them. That's what you're all thinking of. When I say stock, that's what you see. You're seeing generic guy in pinstripe suit pointing like this. There we go, got it in frame. That's stock photography. It's what people do when they start out photography because they think they can make money. And this comes to an old thing where I'm like, if you need to make £1,000, it's easier to do one £1,000 job than $1,001 jobs or whatever it is. It's just doesn't make sense. But that's that. Over here, we have press photography, kind of a very similar thing. You shoot stuff, you upload it, they sell it. Now, these main stock sites sell it to anybody, small businesses, individuals. I've even bought from them when I needed backgrounds. And let me tell you, it is a nightmare because most of the work is rubbish. And even the good stuff is not great, but it is cheap. Press sites, you upload to them, they sell it to the newspapers, the magazines, the online websites. They have a very particular client base and they market to those people. Very important. Now, press photographers, they can make a lot of money doing this if they're in the right place at the right time, shooting the right stuff and regularly uploading. My friend was telling me the average press photographer who's done it for 10 years, if they stop, for the rest of their life, they're probably going to make £1,500 a month doing nothing, which is not a bad thing. Like that's I think it's quite good. You've done all that work, you're making a lot more during the working time, of course. And then once you stop, you just keep selling images because celebrities sadly die. They get arrested for doing heinous crimes and they come into the news for saying the wrong things all the time and they need old images of these people. So there we go. So that's that. Now, the other side, which you probably don't know about, and we're going to go into this in more detail, is syndication. That's where an archive will syndicate your work, and that's what I did. I'm not going to name the name of who I did it with, but I had my work syndicated by an archive. So, £1,500 doing nothing over here in press, 33 cents doing stock. A lot more money on syndication because these people are targeting ad agencies specifically. Now, my agent does my syndication now, so I no longer have to be on one of these sites. So if someone wants to license my work, they go through my agent, he syndicates it. Same with my previous agent. She would have done the exact same thing, but at this point, I didn't have either of those people, so I did it there. I'm going to get into how much I earned at the end, but let's look at all of this as a spectrum. At the very bottom, you've got your stock sites. I'd say, and this is cost per image, then your press sites, and then your syndication. Now, in terms of earnings in bulk, I'd say it's probably stock sites, syndication, press sites, because it's just there's more volume of sales at a higher value. You'd have to make a lot of sales on a stock site to make good money. But there we go. Now, the reason stock sites are so badly paid is because the images are not good. And they hold little relevance. Press sites, the images don't have to be works of art, but they have to be relevant. They have to be culturally significant, part of the zeitgeist. They have to be, relevant work to sell to papers. Archival work has to be good enough to be on a billboard. Now, I sold some work during this 1 year of woe when I was signed up to these people, and it took me a lot of time to get my images on there because you had to export them all at the right size, plus a web size version and a medium size version. You had to file name them with their particular archival structure. You then had to put a plugin into Lightroom, which let the metadata go in a certain way and put all these tags in each image and do each one individually and upload them, make sure any people had model release forms signed, scanned and put in with it and all the rest of it. It was a real pain in the bottom. But I did it. I got through it. It took me about a week to get them all on there. And I was with them for a year before I removed it because of signing with an agent. Now, I sold 2 photographs in 1 year. And I made a grand total of £3,000. So I sold 1 photograph to be used online for a year for £1,000. Sorry, then my air freshener's like squirting off in the background there. I sold 1 image for 1 year on the internet for £1,000 usage. That was after the agency had taken their fee, so I assume it was substantially higher. I then sold 1 image for 2 months usage in print out of home for £2,000. That's it, £3,000. Week's work, £3,000. Is that good? I don't know. I'm not sure whether I'd have bothered with it again, considering, and this is all very relative and this sounds very privileged, but considering what I make in a day shooting Was it worth spending a week doing that just to get that much money? Probably not. Now, if I'd have left it there and never uploaded another thing and made $3,000 a year, yeah, it's worth it. But I wouldn't do, because my work becomes dated. You've got to keep uploading. You've got to keep on this. You've got to keep adding work all the time. $3,000 a week, that's a lot of money when you think about it. But does it cheapen your work when it's sold somewhere? Like if I sold my images on a stock site, my value of work would go down drastically. Now, in order for me to sell £3,000 at 33 cents an image, well, you can do the maths, can't you? That's not going to happen in a year. And yes, of course, you can upload, and people always talk about, oh, when you've got your big catalogue there, it's passive income. It's not passive income. Passive income is when you do no work. It's evergreen content. It's like my YouTube videos. Once I've done them, they keep making money. That's not passive. It's evergreen. Because I had to do this work. I've put the work in. It's not passive income. The sweat equity is here. And it's the same with stock. It's just the lowest hanging fruit. And the reason people fall into this trap is because they see, oh, I can easily make some money. Oh, I've made 10 sales. And it's like, yeah, but you've made like $30. And, or you may made $200 this month. Is it worth it? Is there a better use of your time? Can you forfeit that money in order to do something else with your time? Because if you get better at photography, you can go and sell to an archive and syndicate. And that will be a much better income than stock photography. Or if you want to do press work, get a portfolio together, start approaching these big press agencies and wire agencies and go, look, I've shot all of this stuff. Can I upload my archive and also continue to upload going forward? I don't think anybody should be considering stock photography as an income. The only people who make money out of it at the moment are those who shoot video for stock, which is great, but that's going to come to an end when it becomes oversaturated, because now iPhone video is good enough. And those who are so good that they have so much good work in every single section that they're the only seller of those things. I know I've bought several different styles of work from the same person when we've needed backgrounds, and they just know that this is what works. But again, it's not great money even at that level. And why not just get a little bit better and syndicate your work? Because if I did continue to upload my work to a stock agency or a syndication agency, I know where my money would be. I'd be in the syndication. That's where I'm going to keep making money. I think if I'd have actively pursued it and shot images specifically for it that I knew would syndicate well to ad agencies, I could probably make $10,000 a year. But I've got some cat fluff in the air. Got it. Moggy's been in here again. But the problem with this is the amount of work I'd have to put into it. Would I not just be better shooting a cool test shoot and sending it to some ad agencies in the hope of getting an ad campaign where I might get a bigger chunk of change for a single shoot? I might make 3 times that in one day rather than spending a whole year doing it. But these are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because I'd love to hear it. But to summarize, stock bad, syndication pretty okay, and shooting for press much better, but not as good as it used to be. The percentages are low and the prices are cheaper. It's all slowly coming to a bit of a sticky end, unfortunately. But there we go. See you soon. Bye-bye.